We have the whole group here. Excited to have you guys here. We have Sheetal, Shifali, Astha, Chushan, and Nikki, and Lucy. Am I right?
Yes.
Awesome. I'll let you guys do the talking.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for Building Women in Data Communities. Today, our panel of Women in Data Science, or WIDS ambassadors, will be discussing their experiences in communities for women in data and how their involvement has fostered learning, mentorship, networking, and professional growth opportunities. We'll be also be highlighting the opportunities that communities like WIDS offers for everyone to join, contribute, and make an impact. My name is Lucy Herb, and I will be serving as the moderator and time for this today. I am a data scientist who's previously worked on feature engineering techniques and content recommendation modeling at Catch, an AI content analytics platform. I'm also a recent graduate of UC Berkeley's Master's in Information and Data Science program. My pathway in data science actually originated in the world of teaching and education research. I've always been fascinated by the less tangible conditions that enable learning to happen, the cognitive, psychological, and social underpinnings of both academic and professional growth. As a researcher at the University of Washington in the earlier stages of my career, I worked to evaluate higher education programs for advancing STEM students from underrepresented groups. And let me tell you, I loved that job. Because what I got to see over and over again, both in the data I was analyzing and in terms of the very robust evidence base that I was drawing from, was the singular power of representative peer networks and mentorship to combat systemic barriers to access across the pipeline in the STEM fields. I got to witness the transformative empowerment of those who are onlys, often in multiple senses, and those who are first, find belonging and mentorship through the construction of these communities. And while I can definitively say that these days, while my data is a lot bigger, and my tools are a lot faster and often much more expensive than they were in academia, the salience of those lessons from my time working in evaluation research it's just resonates even more strongly. With that said, my involvement in WIDS, from attending conferences and events to regularly meeting up with this group for research discussions, job search advice, and general camaraderie, has been instrumental to my development in this field. With that out of the way, I'd like to reintroduce our incredible panel members and ask them to share a little about their pathways into community building. Sheila, would you like to start?
Sure, I think we're going to go in this order, because so hi, I'm Borar. I have been in the field for 6 years now. I've worked in finance, e-commerce, healthcare, and I've worked across different continents. My last role was as an applied scientist at Amazon Prime Video, so I was focusing on personalization there. It's great to be here and to be able to address all of you. I think my journey into community building started when I joined a role as an ML engineer at JP Morgan. I was new to the field, and so was my team. So nobody really knew the answers to my questions. I had lots of them, and nobody could help me out. So I really had to look to the community and really had to broaden my networks and reach out to the machine learning community within my company and outside to be able to seek those answers. And I think that's where it started. After I moved to the US, I attended a PyData event where I came across WIDS, Women in Data Science, and that I feel has been like a revelation for me, because it's in my experience it's been hard to find that kind of community even at my workplaces. So yeah, just to be able to bounce ideas of these talented women and learn and grow together. It's been a great experience. At the last WIDS regional conference, I actually told Shefali that we should start a reading group to discuss technical papers together, and we kicked that off, and that has been a 10-session long meetup that has been going on. And I'm really grateful that we have that sort of a community and platform to be able to do something like that. So I'm going to pass it on to Juxi now.
Hi everyone, my name is Chushin. I am a senior quantitative modeling associate at JP Morgan. I do have to say that everything I have is my own opinion and not representative of my firm. So my community building journey starts about 3 years ago at a PyData event. So shout out to PyData. And at that time, I remember all I did was I asked, can I be a volunteer? And then nobody really answered me, but someone sent me a Zoom invite about 3 days later, and I have no idea what that is. And it turned out Women in Data Science at that time was looking for a venue to host their regional conference. And I was a PhD candidate at CUNY at that time. So I said, sure. I wasn't sure, but I said sure. And it turned out that I did get them a free venue at CUNY, and we hosted a regional conference in that year and this year. And later on, I was also asked to lead the AI Camp, New York City chapter. And so those moments are when I realized it's very fast that you can go from being an attendee to someone who's running the show. And I have benefited a lot, including meeting all these amazing women. So yeah, that's my journey.
Hey everyone, I'm Asta. I also have to say as a disclaimer that anything I say is my own opinion and is not representative of my employer. It's CVS Health. I work as a senior data scientist there, and I'm building their recommendation systems and the search experience. So that's me. I have been in the data science field for almost 8 years now. And my journey through it has been in tech. So in firms like Oracle, Twilio, I was working completely in tech. And then around the pandemic, I was seeing the healthcare industry, how much of an accelerated development we have to do. And I decided to pivot, and now I'm using my tech skills in healthcare. I also work with the Indian Fertility Society. So we have like a national mission there of making sure that every fertility clinic in India has counseling services available within those clinics, because the doctors and the nurses are too busy doing the other things, and these patients and families come with one problem, but they often deal with depression and anxiety, which is what we don't want. So that's about me. I'm very passionate about women's health and then also building these communities. When I joined Oracle, I actually moved from my campus to Colorado, and it was a little isolating because I was in a suburb. The office was like in the middle of Denver and Boulder. It was in the middle of kind of nowhere, and I was looking for communities, and I was missing the camaraderie of my university. So I started looking for communities around, and I found meetup.com. And that's how I found some tech communities around that I got involved in. And just like Chintan, I was like, how can I help? How can I get more involved? And now from there, I've today built my own community. It's called Women Who Do Data. We started this year and we have a few hundred members already. So yeah, I've experienced the benefit of communities. I've experienced them while I was job searching, and I think that's something that really brings me joy beyond my work. So I met these amazing ladies through that as well. So yeah, that's about me.
Hello everyone, thank you for being here. I know it's been a long day. So my name is Nikki, and I'm a machine learning engineer in an environmental services company called Dell in North America. It's so old, it's 170 years old. So I've been interested in applying machine learning in the environmental and sustainability field, and having this more purpose-driven, applications of AI. My journey to women communities and women led communities started in my undergraduate. My professor was actually an ambassador of Women in Data Science, which, just to explain a little bit what it is, because a lot of people have mentioned it, it's an organization that initially started at Stanford and has now grown so much globally. And the idea is to create events that are welcome for everyone to join. However, they're very technical, so all the conversations are about the work of the people on the stage, with one twist, that the stage will only allow females, because the professor, the Emirata professor that started it, saw that all these technical conferences actually didn't have women on stage. So this is something that I truly believe in building, and I've been an ambassador for that organization for the past 2 years and organized awesome workshops, and we run a data-thon workshop last year, and there's more to come. So yeah, this is me.
All right, last one. Hi everyone, my name is Shafali. I'm a MS in Applied Statistics student at Columbia University, graduating really soon. But I do have around 3 years of experience in data science and analytics, in ad tech, consulting, and education, so a lot of domains. My journey into data science also kind of began with Women in Data Science when Nikki here reached out to me on LinkedIn, and then we organized this data-thon workshop together, and now we do a reading group. Always excited to meet new people, so in case anyone wants to join, please reach out to us. But yeah, really excited to be here, and of course, thank you for staying here. I know it's like 4 p.m. really late, but yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. So next, I'd like to address the unique challenges and advantages, or at least some of them, you've experienced as a woman in data science. What role does engaging in these communities play in navigating them? And I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, I would like to begin with the advantages. I think the biggest thing for me has been this feeling of belonging, finding amazing role models that I can look up for. I'm really lucky that I'm in this field like now, and not some years before, that I can see amazing like senior data scientists, PhD people that move to the industry and are doing incredible work. So this has been definitely the support that I have received in mentorship. And with that, it goes to the challenge, this feeling of the intermediate until I found my place, and found like people that I can look up for. It was a journey that I just like took, and I'm glad that now I have these amazing people that we're reading like these research papers and discussing them, and not only that, but also just like coming here and talking to all of you. And I would be excited to hear about your experiences in the field as well. But yeah, this would be my advantages and challenges.
So I'll start with the challenges. Growing up, I did not see a lot of women in positions of like managerial positions in corporate. And the first time I had a female manager, I felt like a shift in my brain happened almost, because I could like feel representation. And I don't think, I still find myself in rooms where it's like full of men, and I could be the only woman there, or only women in like 5 or 6 women in the room. So we definitely have more work to do, but I feel like that was one of the major challenges that I faced initially in my career, in my classes as well, like when I was doing my master's, as well as the companies that I work for. But I did have a lot of good mentors in men and women both, which really helped me. And then the benefits of the community is exactly that, where I could find safe spaces to speak up. Because I used to be super nervous before speaking in front of public. I would be trembling, and you could hear it in my voice and see it in my body. And like, I just had a lot of opportunities, and I got to practice through these communities, learn the technical stuff, but not just that, also things like imposter syndrome. There was someone who told me when I started going to conferences and started speaking, initially I would be like, why did they even select me to speak? Like, what is happening right now? And so someone told me that if you don't trust yourself, trust the people who are organizing the conference. They saw your profile, there's something they saw in you. And so, tips like these from women who also experience similar feelings, that community really helped me grow. So yeah, I think that's a really big benefit.
Yeah, so unique
Challenges,
advantages,
and how these communities have played a role in navigating all that.
Yeah.
Just tiny little
Yes, I mean, okay, let me start with advantages. One of the things about data science, which is rare, right, is that it's a very diverse community. There are statisticians and mathematicians and computer scientists and people who have studied physics before, and like there are people from all sorts of backgrounds that are there, and they are trying to learn that other piece of the puzzle that they have not learned maybe in their education, or they don't have the work experience for, right? So that makes for a community that has empathy for understanding that I don't know everything, and I'm trying to learn here, and the other person's also trying to learn here, and together we make, together we can teach and learn, right? So that I think is a unique thing about this industry that is not so common in other industries. The challenges as a woman, I think I'll start with one of my organizations. I was one of the 9 women in a 200 people tech organization. So it's and that's a common statistic based on my, whenever I've spoken to other women, that has been a common thing that they have seen and experienced. And I think that can lead to isolation, and that can lead to self-doubt as well, right? Because you don't so easily find that camaraderie or that rapport with your with people around you. That kind of is foundational for your work experience and for your career growth. So I think that was one of the challenges that I struggled with, and for me, women in data science was so great, and all the women who helped me and the men who helped me throughout in this journey, it was so instrumental because I had people that I could look up to and people who helped me navigate my path and address those challenges and get over those obstacles, rather than thinking and believing that this is not the field for me or I do not belong here, right? So I think just the fact that I could see somebody else who has been out there, who has surpassed these challenges and who has been successful in this career, that made a huge difference. So I'm very happy that now, given that we have this much community around us, we can provide that support also to people who are coming into the industry now. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for the range of perspectives coming from the different industries and the different career stages that you're all in. So next up, we'd like to know about how your communities and your involvement in them have influenced your career trajectory. So how these communities supported your networking, job searching, it could be sort of any angle of career development or progression. Shafali, where does this begin?
They asked me first because I'm still a student, so I can answer this question really well. But I think there are 3 ways I can answer this question. The first one is the one that you're all thinking. Networking helps you get referrals help you get jobs. And that's obvious for any community, not just women in data science in particular. It just helps you get more of that face-to-face contact and in-person meaningful relationships that you can build over time and nurture. So I'm not going to go into detail in that one,
But the second one that really helped me a lot, which a lot of my colleagues have been touching upon, is reducing imposter syndrome. I mean, how many of you here in your life ever have felt even a little bit of imposter syndrome at your workplace? Just a, if you're not raising your hand, you're probably lying, because everyone has. Yeah, so it's tough being in this industry because there's always people who are doing cool stuff that you're probably not doing at the moment, or people you think are better than you. You're always comparing, right? So this community of amazing women and other communities that I'm a part of really help me sort of ground and have that, build that confidence in myself that, you know, even if you don't know something, you can always learn it. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And then the last thing I would say is that there can, as open source and as democratized tech is, there can still be some scope of gatekeeping that happens. And what I mean by that is, especially as a student, when you start out in building projects, you don't have a lot of insights on what you're doing. Is it relevant for industry? Are you doing work which is at par with what people in the job market or people on the job are expecting or not? And this community can really help you kind of build that gap and give you critical feedback so you can keep improving your work. But those are the 3 ways that I have benefited from this community. Yeah, so it's not working. It's just like it's not.
Yeah, automatically turns on.
This is one of the unique
Can you
advantages of
hear us
this
still?
industry.
Yeah. Alright. Okay, we don't need the mic, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna speak loud. So, I'll speak from a career progress perspective because the career progress is all about building up your skills, whether it's technical skills or soft skills. And of course, everyone comes to events like PyData conference or community events. You learn from the speaker and your peers. So then you grow your technical skills. I want to highlight that a lot of the communities have offered mentorship programs. For example, WIDS, Women in Big Data, Data Angels. I was matched with a very senior data scientist at Data Angel, and she gave me a lot of perspective on what kind of skills are still more relevant today to build it up. So that was really helpful. On the soft skill side, I think of as I see it, probably in your own job, you don't have a lot of opportunities to do organizing, leading a team, communication or public speaking, and then you go in and ask for promotion to be a lead or to be a manager, and then the company said, oh, but you don't have managing experience. How can I promote you to manager, right? So then having a community experience on the side can make a case stronger. That would be what I think. And actually, a lot of the companies these days really want to have these community events inside their company. So, for example, I have led AI Camp for about more than a year now. We run monthly events, and then about 2 months ago, JP Morgan asked me if I can run the events inside JP Morgan. So I ran 2 events there, and now I can talk to my manager like different before. I'm ready for my promotion. So I think of communities as something that you can build up your technical skills or your soft skills.
And I appreciate the point both of you are making with slightly different levels of years in mileage, whatever we want to call it, that it's about getting perspective, and that implicitly there's a trust level in that, right? Because you are theoretically exposing your student work to someone who says, what did you do? So I think there's the role of these communities, and just in general, of kind of getting help shaping one's perspective to go somewhere that you haven't been yet, right? Whether that's about identifying a specific skill to develop, whether that's about presenting the work that you've done, what you're capable of in the most effective way.
Last but not least,
I would love to ask you as well, Sheila, about sort of the role that WIDS or other communities have played in your career trajectory at any stage.
Yeah, so I mean, echoing both of their sentiments and what you said as well, I think one key point that Shilson highlighted was the mentorship that you can get from a lot of different programs. A lot of these programs out there. So WITS has a career catalyst program, which I think Asta is on as well, and there are lots of amazing mentors there who you can book time with and sit with and have a conversation. And I think like it helps to have like honest conversations with your mentors, right? Like a lot of times I feel like we have that barrier or we are afraid to have those sort of conversations, but it's important to talk to them about your struggles and ask them about their struggles, because that's the only way you'll understand where you might be in the next 3 years, 5 years, what the struggles that they're having right now, those are going to be your struggles in the future as well. So it's important to talk about the issues and the problems that you're facing, not just have like surface level conversations. And build those long-lasting, meaningful connections with people, because I think that is going to be more valuable than anything else than that these communities can give you. Like the technical knowledge and the social skills, like I think the technical knowledge you can get probably online as well, right? But the personal experience that people have and that they bring from being in those sort of situations, I don't think that can be replaced. So yeah, like do reach out to people and do set up these mentorship calls and foster these relationships that can really be valuable.
So our next question is directed to the members of our panel who have the most in-depth experience as far as organizing and generating engagement in communities like these. Gisbin, we can start with you. I'd love to know more about what are some of the angles of your approach to, whether it's called growing the group, organizing it, bringing in more members, sort of continuing to keep them engaged. What aspect of organizing do you want to share with us?
So I think once you started organizing, perhaps you start from volunteering, and then you learn how to run events smoothly. It's actually not that easy. For example, something can break in the middle, and then you freaked out, and then after several times you calm down. And then I think effective marketing is very important. Social media is good to spread out the words to friends and people they know that might be interested in your events or community. Platforms like meetup.com or what else? Supermobiles. I don't know if any of you have heard about it. They have a good platform for you to post your events to attract your attendees. And then once you have a several amount of people who RSVP, the next step you probably want to think about is, what is your target audience? There are times when your audience are diverse, they bring in different perspectives, which is good. And then there are times when they are too different and they could not have a very engaging conversation with each other. For example, last year when I was running AI Camp, there will be participants that try ChatGPT but have never coded in their life. And our speakers are talking about RAG, LLM ops, and they have or vector database. They have no idea what those things are. And the experience for them would not be as pleasant if we have marketed well and selected our audience well. So that would be something that I learned over the time.
Can you just follow up? Can you tell us more about the sort of specificity, like whether it's in a LinkedIn post or a meetup description, how to get the sort of requirements or level, experience level that sort of you need? I guess, PyData is a sort of an example of this, right? But yeah, is your approach something similar to that?
I would say I've seen some people who will have a pending registration, and then they ask you to at least write down your title or leave your LinkedIn link, or just type one company to see if it could be a good fit. For example, if it's highly technical, then someone who is an investor might not be a good fit, or someone who is a designer might not be a good fit. That would be something that I think. Yeah, but I was sometimes you can take a look into their LinkedIn and see if they could be interested in your events.
So back to where we were with members with most experience in community organizing. Also, I'd love to know more about same question. How do you create engagement? How do you maintain it? How do you build these organizations?
So to begin with, like starting to even get the experience of how to organize, I started with volunteering. So I started with this organization called and that's the one where I started as a volunteer position. I started seeing how do they organize their events, what is it that they want, and there's so many pieces to it. Like how many days before the event does the first post go out? How many days before does the second post go out? Understanding the engagement on LinkedIn, trying to see who are the people who are engaging with your post. Is it more of students? Is it more experienced people? Is it more like non-technical product owners maybe? So just understanding your audience and then seeing what their needs are. So the community that I have, Women Who Do Data, how we formed was because after the pandemic, we saw a lot of these organizations closing because they were losing on sponsorships from these big tech companies. And we decided to open an organization that's completely member-led, completely volunteer-led. We're not taking any donations. It's literally volunteer effort to make sure we're able to continue the mission. And then the second part is, now that it's a new community, we're starting to send out engagement. We also started with like something as basic as our logo. Like how do we make sure that the colors, there's like a color, we have a designer who was explaining to me how the color expresses an emotion, and so how we blended those colors to express those emotions. So we wanted to show like women strong kind of a theme. And so that's how we started with like just getting around the color themes of how our messaging would go out. And now we have like certain, like 2 weeks before an event, we would start sending out notifications. We have a Discord community that helps a lot because we ask people to join us on Discord, and that's where we can do impromptu study with me sessions, impromptu accountability groups, not just like formal events where there's a speaker coming and you're having your talks, but just members of the community being able to engage with each other. So I think that also really helps, where they feel like it's a sense of belonging. And then a lot of the times, because we're member-led, we also send them, like when we were deciding our logo, we sent them 4 options, and we took a poll, like, what do you think our community should be like? So, we're trying to just engage them in that way in all the decisions that we make. And then we can also start, there are volunteers who would like to practice their public speaking skills. Maybe they want to speak, maybe they want to organize. So we're planning to send out a committee email where we have like a knowledge-based committee, a marketing committee, which one would you like to join and gain experience that way. So trying to find how we can add value to our community members and give them what they want and the skills that they want to build in them. So
in order to maintain that kind of symbiotic cycle, attracting people, increasing engagement, and sort of increasing the benefits that you can give back.
Yeah.
Right? Sort of an ongoing, iterative process. Anyone else want to add anything first?
No, I think I can add that that idea is really cool, right? Like to get your community involved in every small decision that you're making. That's a really cool idea.
Yeah, because we've been talking about how we've benefited from them, but it's also good to give back and something that is valuable for the audience.
And perhaps not to think of it as distinct as it might sound. Like distinct channels of sort of receiving value from a community. Because if we all wait until we've had 100 years in the field, right? Like there's not going to be any interest to run a tutorial for younger, so it may involve sort of getting involved and contributing before you feel ready or highly expert. But if anyone here does feel highly expert in this field already, I'd love to talk to you. Thank you for that. Okay, so finally, I'd love to end with some thoughts on what's next for communities like WIDS. Let's see, let's start with Nikki again.
Yeah. So I think we are all planning to run another datathon workshop. There is this Kabul competition that happens with Women in Data Science organization every year. It begins on the 1st of January, and then it runs around mid-March or something around that time. Last year it was about breast cancer detection. If we can detect that the patient will have breast cancer up to 90 days before the diagnosis. And yeah, I'm excited to hear like the next challenge that I didn't know until that datathon actually that men can also get breast cancer. But I think what I wanted to highlight and on the future of these events is that we do need participation from all people, regardless of their genders. And I'm really glad that here in the audience it's not only women. So I feel that this is very important to move the needle. And we cannot do it alone. So it's great that everyone, that some people want to support us. So yeah, we would love to talk to you afterwards, and if you want to be part of the next events that we're organizing.
We'll be at the social because we clearly would have time for Q&A. Michelle, would you like to take us out with any thoughts?
No, I think everyone has really summarized it well. I think I would just add 2 more points, just to say that I do see the community moving more towards specialization. I mean, we ourselves are a peer group, but I'm seeing a lot of other peer groups also forming to focus on specific fields of data science. And to that end, we do have a reading group, but if anyone here is really excited about starting their own group to do any specific thing, like, give me critical feedback on my projects or anything, from lead code practice to whatever, come talk to us. I think I'm especially really excited about starting new groups, so I would love to do that. And then the last thing is, again, just ending on the note of improving accessibility. One is, of course, starting with gender-based accessibility. We have this forum. But we're also seeing a move towards, including more multilingual platforms, accessibility for all people, regardless of race, gender, nationality, etc. And I really love that's happening in data science community, and it's an exciting time to be a part of it. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Communities can benefit everybody. They're customizable, and pretty free actually, other than the quality graphic design you're Thank you all so much. I highly recommend folks from any career stage, any vertical and any gender, frankly, check out the WIDS website. It's a worldwide organization. They have so many events, regional. They've got stuff going on in Kazakhstan. There's a really big range. And yeah, look into more opportunities than you can imagine there for getting involved in any form. Thank you all so much for coming.